everybody, it's Sam at Mixed Up Craft. Thank you for watching my tutorial today. I've got another gift bag. This one is pretty standard in terms of the main bag itself, but the detail's very different. So I've got this really fun tassel, which I love. I do like making tassels. This one's a bit more of a brush. I've not curled this one like I usually would, so I quite like it. Almost like it's like a broom, but I think it looks quite cool just straight. So it's entirely up to you if you want to curl yours. But the real cool bit is these handles. So if I just bring them up, so inside I've just played around with the colours and I've got this fluorescent yellow on the insides there, but it holds itself like that. And I saw this is a handbag in a shop, and it just gave me the idea. I thought, brilliant, it's so easy to do. And you can see how it kind of, I can get my lighting here. It's got like little loops there where they go through. But the good thing is that when it's up this way, they fall down on the side. So you could do it up and have that hanging down. Obviously, that would be hidden up underneath like so. And then you can just pick it up like so and carry it. I think it's really fun, and as always it folds completely flat, which I love. So just bringing it up there, you can see. So again, a fun one to make. If you just like making stuff but you think, oh god, I've got no more room, you can make this and store it away easily. So this is what we're going to do. The papers I'm using, let me grab, oh gosh, did you hear that? That was a load of dies just falling on the floor. Never mind, deal with that afterwards. This is the Simply Creative 12 by 12 Stargazer. I haven't used this one yet. So this is like, reminds me of the Etch-a-Sketch. So I thought that was quite fun. And then the one I'm using today is this one here, which is just like the, kind of the galaxy. It's all a bit, yeah, well it is, it's all that kind of theme. The stars, the midnight sky, the galaxies, planets, astronauts. Yeah, it's a really fun one. Moons. Yeah. Okay, so that's the one we're going to use there. Again, I'll share all those links in my blog. Just bring all of this over, pop that to one side. So you're going to need, to make the tassels, I've used these loads of times and I've shared links, but these are just these vegetable cutting scissors to make life easier in the kitchen, I guess. I've never ever used them in the kitchen. They make your things look, your fruit and veg look fancy. But they're perfect in the craft room for making quick tassels and just for having strips, cutting strips, and you know, having funny like decorative edges and stuff. So they're really handy to have. So again, I'll find links for that for you. Right, so we need 2 pieces of 12 by 11 and a half. Yeah, by 11 and a half. The reason why it's, I've cut a little bit off is because along the 12-inch side I've created a 1/2-inch tab, so it then means the whole bag itself is 11 and a half. So that's why you've got the 11 and a half that way. So that's those 2 pieces. Then to make your tassel you need 1 piece of 2 3/4 by whatever default length you have, so whether it be your 12-inch card, your A4 card or your letter paper. It's entirely up to you, it's not going to make too much of a difference. Then for the little kind of loops that the handles sit in, they are 1 by 6.5, so you need 2 of those pieces. And then I've just got these tiny little bits which were to decorate the tassel. Again, if you do want them, I've got this silver piece which is 3/8 of an inch by, this is going to be cut right down, so when I get to that bit I'll tell you. And then another piece is 1/2 an inch. But if you want to get them prepped, I've got them roughly 3.5 in width, both of them. You need some ribbon for your tassel, and then you need some circle dies. Now you can make your handles any shape, so I'm doing circles, but you could have squares, you could have stars. Maybe I should have used stars using Stargazer paper. It's entirely up to you. So ovals would look nice because you can get your hand in them quite well as well. Rectangles again because they're obviously longer. What other ones have I got? Diamond shape, that'd be quite cool as well. So yeah, you can really make these really quite fun, but you need 2. And my largest one is 4 in diameter, and the inner one is the next size down, which is 3, it's about 3 3/4. So whatever nest of dies you've got and whatever size suits you, because that will fit in this bag, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so starting with our 2 main pieces of card. Let me just make sure, because I've got one bit that's got the full score line, so I'll do that one first because this is the back one because this has got the full score line on the back. Okay, so scoring along first of all the 12-inch side, you want to score at 1/2 inch and at 4 inches. Then rotate it so that little 1/2 inch tab is running along the top, and it should be now your 11.5 inch side. And you want to score at 3.5 inches and at 5.25 inches. Then rotate it back so that 1/4 inch tab is now on the left hand side, and you want to score at 2.25 down to that first score line. So that one that we've just done there. Okay, so that's all the scoring on the back piece. The front piece is pretty much the same, but we're not going to do this one of the score lines all the way through. So again, along the 12-inch side, you want to score at 1/2 inch and at 4. Then rotate so that 1/2 inch tab is running along the top, and it's the 11.5 inch side. And again, you want to score at 3.5, and then the 5.25 you want to score again, but past that first score line and down to the second score line. You don't want to go all the way down here because this is the front of your bag. Whereas on that other piece we went all the way down because that's the back, that's the piece that's got the crease line for us to fold it flat. Okay, so that line, you need to score it, no you don't even, yeah, if you don't want it to fold flat, you don't even need to do the 5.25 line on this piece or the other piece. It's only if you want it to fold flat. Then rotate it back again, so you've got your 12-inch side and that 1/4 inch tab on the left, and score again at 2.25 down to that first score line. If you haven't done that score line and you want it to still squeeze shut, then I would just score this down to 6 inches, which is where this is. Okay. Then grab your piece here for the tassel, so the whatever length it was by the 2 3/4, and you want to score along the 2 3/4 side at 2. So basically we've got a 3/4 inch tab here, which is what we're going to use to glue and roll the tassel, and all of this is going to be cut with the scissors. So that's all of that. Keep your stylus. I'll just get rid of my cord. And again, if you are wanting it to fold flat, then with a ruler, if I just, right here, so it's quite hard with this paper, isn't it? So let me burnish it actually, that'll be much, much easier, and then you'll know what I'm doing. So I'm just going to burnish all of my score lines, like so. Okay, so this is this piece here, and this is where we scored down to either 6 inches or that first score line that you would have done. So from that score line here, you want to score from the bottom of this middle score line here. You want to score down to the corner of where we've just burnished. So you're just scoring down to this corner, and then that's our tab. You're going to score the other score line. Can you see where I've done it down to that corner? You can see them there now, what I've done. So that's that one there, that's the one that you're scoring down to the first score line, and then we're going to do this little triangle. And again, this is all just to help it fold flat. Now I will just put a little pop-up now, up here, of the other tutorials I've done where I do the same technique, but you could probably see it better. It's just because of this really cool print. But yeah, it's not doing me any justice on the camera. Then with the other piece, so this is the piece where we've got that other line running right the way across the back. So I'm going to burnish that one and the other one, then my tab and that one. So you'll see now we've got that piece. And then that line here, so the top one, that's the base. Again, you've got that score line running down there. From there, you're going to do another, you can see where I've already done them there. And the score line from there to there, and there to there. Okay, so it's just to that, on the left hand side here, it's just going to that 1/2 inch score line there. And then on this one. On my blog, I'll draw a picture of this, so you'll be able to see it as well. If I flip it over, you can probably see there as well what I've done. Okay, but all of that is just if you want to fold it flat, so don't worry yourself too much if that's not what you want to do. Okay, so keeping with this piece now, I'm going to grab my scissors, and with the tab on the left hand side, you want to cut up the very first tab kind of score line just up to your first score line. I'm just going to cut that on a slight angle just so it doesn't overhang, and then cut up the next one. Again, just up to the first score line. And I'm just going to take out the lumpy score line itself, like so. Okay, so that's what you should have. And then I'm going to do exactly the same on this piece. So again, along the bottom with the tab on the left hand side, just cut up that one. Okay, so again, I've just removed all of that bulky score line. You should have two pieces like that. So now what we can do is, I'm just going to grab my, where's my other glue? Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm just going to run some glue along one of the little 1/2 inch tabs there. And then we're going to stick this down. So grab this other piece and you're going to stick it over the top. Make sure you line your top up, okay, more than anything, because you can kind of doctor and sort out the rest of it, but if your top isn't all lined up, it's just going to look a mess. So, and I can see all my other score lines are all meeting up here as well. Just make sure that glue's spread out, like so. And then flip the whole thing over. And then bring this one over and that one over. And you want to put glue along the other 1/2 inch tab, like so. Okay, and then just bring this one over and it should all line up perfectly, like so. Okay, so now we've got this nice bag coming together. Now with our base, decide which, oh no, it's not decide which is your front or your back. Well, I guess if you haven't done that extra score line here, so I know this is my back. If you haven't got that extra score line, then decide which you want, what you want to be your front or your back. This is my back, so I'm going to put that one down first, and then I'm going to stick these two side pieces on and then that piece up, because that means you get a nice flat plain piece on the bottom. Okay, so I'm just going to now put glue on my two tabs here and fold those in. Actually, before I fold that in, I've just had a thought. I forgot to just on your little square ones here, just take a wedge off each corner. I never ever forget to do that. Oh, schoolboy error there. Just cut that out. See what I've done? You're just creating a wedge. It just means you won't get any overhang. Easy to do. And again, like so. Okay, so you can see what I've done there. Now, again, get my back, so I'll put that one down first. And then those two will go in, and none of that is now hanging over the top. Okay. Okay, and then that last one now will just sit over the top of all of that and give you a really nice finish. Okay, and then with my ruler, just go inside there and make sure it's all nicely stuck down. I'm just going to give that a few minutes to set and dry before I fold it flat. But that is our gift bag base all done and ready. So now we can do the, I'll move that because it's going to create a shadow. So now we can do the handles. So I've already done one, and I've got this pink here. So again, this is optional, but I've got pink on one side and then I've got white, and I've die cut the white twice, so there's 3 die cuts all together. It just makes it a really nice solid ring that you're going to have as your handle. So I've already cut 2 more in white, and I'm going to do a pink one now for you just to show you what you need to do. Okay, so I've got my Big Shot, and then pop the biggest one down and then the smaller one put inside. You want to make sure you get a nice even gap all the way around with the 2 of them, and then with some washi tape just hold them together just so they don't kind of budge slightly when you run it through. I'm just taking some of this stickiness off on my jeans. Okay, so just make sure that's all nicely even. Oh, I've just moved it. Like so. Pop a little bit of tape there, and then I can just run that one through. Okay, so depending on what weight card you're using, mine's about 200 GSM. Like I said, I've done it 3 times, but it's entirely up to you. You might only want to do this twice. Don't matter about that piece there, actually, I'm not using that. But then you get the ring. Okay, so that's how you get your handle. So pop that to one side. Pop all this back. Okay, and then you just need to stick it together. So just with a little bit of glue, you just want to stick. You don't need a lot. I'm putting a very thin amount of my glue there all the way around. Like so. And then get one of these and just sit it over the top. And then I can kind of make sure it's all, I can see that it's all in place anyway because they're so small. Just get this other piece on. That one. Like so, and then pick the whole thing up and just go around between your finger and your thumb and just make sure it's all flat, and as you're doing it just squeeze it like so, and then that way you'll make sure all the glue's all spread out and it's also even. There you go. So that's another ring. So they're the two now. So they're going to go, the pink's going to face inside, so when it falls down you've got the pink, and you just kind of just see it. I just thought it was quite a nice way to just add bits of colour but without it being too much. Okay, so now we've got the tassel to do. So we scored along this one here, which gave us a 3/4 of an inch kind of little border at the top here. So with your scissors, if you don't have these, you'll just be doing lots of cuts. But with these, I can basically decide, well, I want to come in so it's even kind of width, but I can just do one cut right the way up, and that gives me tassels. And then I come along again, make sure I start with the right amount at the top, sorry. And you can see now I'm just going along each time, making sure I've got that equal piece at the beginning of each cut. And you can see just how quickly you can make a tassel. So these are inexpensive. I think I paid maybe £3 or £4, and it was on, actually I got these in a charity shop. I just remember it's because I've shared them in previous tutorials, and the links to them are in Amazon and eBay. I think you can even get them in some of the department stores in the kitchen department, but they might be a bit more pricier. And the last one, just make sure again you try and get it as even as you can. If it's a bit thinner like that one is, I'm just going to cut the whole piece off there at the end. Okay, so don't worry if your end bit doesn't finish too well. So now that is what we have. So that was easy. And then I just get my bone tool and just run it along, just to kind of start to curve it, so that then when we roll it, it's just a bit easier. Now to do that, you need to get your ribbon ready. This ribbon measures, what have I got here, 11 inches. But again, it's entirely up to you how much you want to hang down. But I'm going to fold it over on itself, so just double it up, and then I'm going to put a bit in there and then start rolling it so that gets stuck and wedged in this, and it becomes really strong. So first of all, I'm just going to start off that, just really curve that very first kind of to start it off, because this has got to really kind of tuck in. So you can see what I've done there, really bent it around just so it makes it much easier to get that kind of first bit off. And then just run glue all the way along this top panel, like so. Okay, and then with the ribbon, again, make sure it's all nice and even. Pop that at the beginning, put a bit more glue over the top there. a little bit messy this bit because you've got to, so now I can just start rolling at the very beginning. This is the hardest part once you've got it started. Okay, I think I've got it. And then just start rolling it up. Make sure you're always staying nice and level. You don't want to start going off at an angle. Make sure you stay with this score line, with the score line that you're rolling. If you always make sure that the rolled piece is always lining up with that score line each time, then you know that you've got it nice and straight. Okay, so now you can see that's all nicely rolled up and that's all really neat and it's all level, so it's not going off. Now if you want to curl all these pieces up, just get your bone tool and start doing it, or you can get your finger and thumb and do it. But again, I don't want to. I do quite like it, just like a slight little brush. I think it looks quite cool. So that's that piece done. And then with those two little bits to decorate, like I said, I didn't know the measurement of this, but start off where the join is, kind of hold it down, wrap it around, and then go over by about 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, something like that, and just snip it. So now that comes in at, so it was 1/2 inch wide by, it's about 1 and, yeah, it's 1 3/4, okay? And again, just get some glue. And again, this is optional, you don't, but I sometimes think all these little, I know it's fiddly, but these extra little details just really do make all the difference to the overall look and finish of your bag. So that's that piece. And then the silver bit again will be 1 3/4, so I can just trim that now. And I'll put that in my blog as well. This is a Miri card, so it's a bit thicker, so I'm just going to, again, help that along. Like so. Put a bit of glue in this one. And again, start from the join. And this piece here will sit perfectly in the middle, giving you just a tiny little frame of that pink border, sorry, not frame. Oh yeah, I guess it is a frame on each side. Okay, so you can see now how lovely that tassel is. I really like it. So now we need to grab our kind of hooks or loops for our handles. So grab your bag. Now mine's all set, I'm going to fold mine flat just because it will make it easier for me to work with. So I'm just pinching in the sides, and as I pinch down to that score line there, it naturally all just wants to fold and fall into place because of all those score lines. Okay, so that is now ready. And then basically, how far down did I come on this one? So it was 2.5. So, glue everywhere. So 2.5. I'm just going to grab my pencil and just put a little rough marker there at 2.5. I can rub it out in a minute. And that's how far down I want this piece to come. So the 2.5 marks running with the top there. And then that's going to loop over and it's going to kind of mirror underneath the same. So you've got that size loop. So we can stick the front down first, but don't stick the back because you've got to put the hoops on before we do that. So I'm just going up to that 2.5 mark, like so. And again, make sure it's nice and centered in this, on the bag. Just flip that over just so I can stick that down, like so. And again with the other one, just going to mark 2.5 just so I get these lined up with each other. Again, pop some glue, like so. Flip it over, come down to the 2.5 pencil mark and then make sure it lines up with that piece so we know that everything's all in line. Now, starting with, I'll do the front one because that would have set. Grab my ring here, so I'm going to have it so the pink falls down, so I need it to go in like so, so the white is facing out. Yeah, that's right. So now I'm going to put some glue roughly again, well, it's not roughly, is it? It's 2.5. So again, just on here, just on that one there, I'm just marking 2.5 there, because I know, again, that that's where I want to put my glue up to. Like so. And then I can fold that over and just look inside. I can see where that 2.5 pencil mark is, and just I'll line it up like so. Okay, and that gives us that shape. So now I will rub that pencil mark out there, and there is that handle there. This is basically now just going to go in and then loop through, so that's really easy, like so. Okay, and then I just need to do the same with this piece. So again, coming down, just mark it at 2.5. That's where I just want to put my glue. Okay, and before you do that, grab your ring, just pop it the right way so when it folds down, and then just bring that one around, line it up again with that pencil mark, and it all sticks down. So it's easy to do, it's just a little bit fiddly, but you get a really nice effect, like so. Isn't that cool? I really do like these. I think they look great. I think they're such a fun little twist on a normal gift bag. So I'm just going to rub out the end of this, the pencil here. Okay, so there you have it, a really cool gift bag. Not sure what I'll call this one. I'll have to have a think about it, but yeah, I think they look fab. So they are 3.5 by, was it 8? What did these ones come in at in the end? I think it was, yeah, 8 by 8. Yeah, 8 by 8 by 3.5. So they're, again, a really nice size. But yeah, hope you like these ones. Please, as always, give me a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe to my channel to see more. Thanks for watching. Bye.